Aloha! Welcome to the Noeau Center's on-demand streaming series on developing successful presentations. This video serves as an introduction, explaining the components of each segment in the series. Here's the full list of options. We'll go through each segment and briefly explain who the intended audience is and describe when in the planning process you should watch. Whether you're a faculty member or student, you can treat this list as an a la carte menu, customizing your own experience by selecting the most appropriate options for you or your class. Segment 1 covers analyzing assignment prompts. This video applies to both individual and team presentations, and it should be watched when you're just getting started. We address important considerations like identifying time limits and dress code requirements, understanding who will be in the audience, determining what kinds of visual aids are allowed, and clarifying the mode of delivery for the presentation. Segment 2 is aimed at building effective teams. It's meant for students who are completing team presentations and should be watched when the team is just getting started. We cover topics like selecting team members who complement one another's strengths and weaknesses, choosing a team structure, planning meetings and rehearsal times, and laying the ground rules for effective communication and conflict resolution through the use of team charters. Segment 3 provides tips and resources for crafting powerful visual aids. It's appropriate for both individual and team presentations in situations where visuals like slide decks and handouts are allowed. It should be watched just before you begin developing these supplements. We provide you with some best practices for creating unique and visually appealing slides and discuss why certain types of data may be easier to present in the form of an audience handout. We also provide you with some great resources for slide templates, animations, and infographics. Segment 4 is intended for students who are allowed to use note cards during their presentation. It applies to both individual and group presentations and should be watched when a student is approaching the rehearsal phase. There aren't many students who spend much time thinking about their note cards, but professors certainly notice when a student is using their notes as a crutch rather than a memory jogger. We provide some key tips for developing organized note cards, improving memory, decreasing reliance on cards over time, and identifying the kinds of material that should be recorded on note cards in the first place. Segment 5 is intended for improving individual performance quality, though it can be watched by members participating in a team project to improve their individual performance score. It should be watched just prior to the rehearsal phase. We focus on important factors like audience eye contact, voice projection, avoiding uptalk, body language and performance posture, breathing, dealing with tech issues and time constraints, and practicing for question and answer segments. Segment 6 focuses on improving team performance quality, and it should be watched just prior to the rehearsal phase. We focus on the importance of opening introductions, assigning a designated slide changer throughout the presentation, coordinating team member transition signals from one presenter to the next, and developing contingency plans should any team member struggle with their segment of the presentation. Segment 7 covers boosting audience engagement, and it's intended for both individual and group presentations. It's best watched just prior to the rehearsal phase. Part of taking any presentation from good to great is actively engaging the audience, and this can be accomplished whether giving presentations in person or virtually. We share some tips for encouraging interaction and participation, and provide some great resources for taking your presentation to the next level. Finally, Segment 8 is for those who have been assigned virtual or recorded presentations. It can be watched just before a student starts planning their visual aids. We know it can be daunting to create a compelling and engaging virtual presentation, but there are ways to set yourself apart from the pack. We discuss some key strategies for familiarizing yourself with the technology, improving audio and video quality, encouraging audience participation, rehearsing, editing videos, and developing a presentation that capitalizes on the unique aspects of the virtual forum. To wrap up this introduction, let's discuss how to complete the workshop for course credit. First, you'll watch the videos that have been assigned to you by your professor. Below the video player in each segment is a quiz that you'll also have to complete. Throughout the video, we'll direct you to specific questions in the quiz when it's time to fill them out. When the video ends, we'll remind you to submit the quiz for class credit. You'll receive a copy of your answers by email, and that email can be forwarded to your professor to satisfy the class requirement. If you're just watching these videos on your own to improve your presentation skills, there's no need to complete the quizzes. Now that you know what to expect, you're ready to dive in. Thanks for watching, and happy viewing.